factorem celi et terra, visibilium hominum, et invisibilium, et in unum Dominum Iesum Christum, Filii Dei unigenitum, et es Patri natum, ante omnia saecula, Deo de Deo, lumen de lumine.
Hello guys, today we are talking about continuity with respect to Christian faith. We're talking about how important is continuity because the idea of continuity might sound strange for a Protestant because they keep having different branches, broken branches, different multiple churches, different theology and different way of life, you know what I mean? And, when we talk about continuity, we tie it with the apostolic succession because we know that Protestantism, we know when it started in 1600 by, the main person in charge that started this movement is Martin Luther. He was a Catholic priest, you know what I mean? An Augustinian. But he broke off from the Catholic Church and, he has furnished his own idea of why, excuses why he left the church, which some of them might be valid excuse, but most of them are not, because now we have Christian branches or these Protestants that cannot trace their origin with the Church of the Apostles. You know what I mean? Because we know that in Matthew 16:18, Jesus said he's going to build a church and the gate of hell will not prevail against it. So how a Protestant is going to give account of these missing years before they arrive at 1500, where their movement started? You know what I mean? And with that continuity, there is no Christianity. Because what are you going to say? You're going to say that the church was into apostasy, like people, Jesus preached the gospel, and after the apostle dies, and the church disappeared, and reinvented again in 1500. You know what I mean? If you claim that fact, you know that if you claim it as fact, you know that you're making Jesus a liar. But we know that sometimes Protestants, they will say that they stick to the Bible, but sometimes when Jesus says something, they will say, no, it doesn't mean what he said. You know what I mean? The same thing Jesus encountered with people when he preached the first time, where some of them said that his preaching is difficult. No one will believe it. The same thing we are seeing today with Protestants. You know what I mean? And for me not to diverse so much, let me continue with this issue of continuity, why it is very important. Because it is very important because Christianity is more than 2,000 years old. And there's no doubt about it. And sometimes you even see that, you see some Protestant ignorant ones, they will say that the Catholic Church are not Christian. The Catholics are not Christians. You know what I mean? And if you dig down and say, who is the Christians now? They say it's them that are Christian. If you are Christian, how do you make up with people? How can you trace back to 1,000 years, your church? They cannot trace them. They can, even some of them cannot even trace their church back to 100 years or 200 years. Most of them, I think you can count maybe 4 churches, Protestant churches that can claim to have 400 years of continuity. The rest doesn't have 10 years span. They broke off, family, they start church. And for a while, people are happy because, they consider getting into people emotions. That's Protestants, what they do. They talk, talking, people pay attention. People just say, listen anyway. So if they talk good, they will have followers, but there's no continuity. It's not going to continue because Jesus didn't promise them anything. It didn't promise that they're going to continue this church. And it's going to keep broken off. But we know that the church that Jesus founded, the Bible said, Matthew 16:18, that is going to found a church. He continued it today. There's continuity. And if you don't have continuity in your church, you have a problem. You have a big problem because how are you going to prove Christianity beyond the 1600? You're not going to run to the ancient churches. You know what I mean? Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video. Peace.